Hello and welcome! Welcome to Drakenmemoria. For those of you wondering what this is, well, it's Dungeons and Dragons, or more specifically, a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. So if this is not something you want to watch, well, you're in luck. Because if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch, they give suggestions for something else that you might want to watch. We encourage you to pick one. For everyone else who actually wants to be here, because they like watching us play Dungeons and Dragons. They like Dungeons and Dragons, that's all. They simply like one of us. Whatever the reason, it's a pleasure to have you with us. If you're new, welcome among us. If you're not new, you're back from a previous session, welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And we hope, no matter who you are, you're going to have a pleasant evening. And please, write something in the chat if you want. It's always fun to see. Or follow us, that's also fun. That's always really fun, getting name appear. At least for me, it's a thrill. But yeah. So, like I just said, we hope you're going to have a very pleasant evening. And, well, since we're not big enough to have sponsors, I guess we're gonna start right in. By saying if you like the ambiance, this little rain in the background. Ambient mixer. There's all the information below the window if you're on Twitch. If you're watching this on Twitch, on YouTube, also Patreon, I have a Patreon. You can always watch it there, everything goes there. You have the advantage that if you watch it on YouTube or Patreon, I remove the 15-minute break and the 10 to 13 minutes before the stream starts. So, but everything
Sponsored by the Dragon. Is it a cult?
Always. Why do you think it's called Drakenmemoria?
Sponsored by the Dragon.
It's just that it's not his dragon, but it's still dragon.
It's the dragon. The actual one.
Yeah.
All dragons are my dragon.
You should start asking questions about the religions of the world, of the people in the garden. You might find something interesting in that other world. But yeah, so, like I said, Ambient Mixer, information is below. And when there are battle maps, I use Dungeon Alchemist to make them. And probably very soon, Wonder Draft is going to be added to this to create world map. Because we are, in a very short time, are going to find ourselves in a new island chain. And so, it would be interesting to have a beautiful map to show. And a revamp of the actual map of the islands that we are in right now. So. And that's about all the promotion I can do. There's really nothing else. Unless there's something interesting in one of your lives that you'd like to share with everyone. Too bad, you took too long. Alright, let's go.
We already did the pregnancy joke in an earlier session, so...
Alright. So, let's get back in. Last episode, the party, who had split up into two groups, enjoyed their respective shady business, while one group shady business relieved them of some gold, the other managed to make gold. Fortunately, the half of the party who had lost gold was able to exchange that gold for knowledge of of what is happening around the island chain. A few interesting things were learned, a few trivial things were learned, a few new detail about one party member was learned, and
Almost blew up.
Also, a few very worrying details. Then, everybody came back together for most likely their shadiest of act. Although this act was done as a group, the result did shake the group unity a little bit. Public executions always tend to do this. Fortunately, we hope, a great challenge is about to be to force them back together, so they'll have plenty of time to settle things. And so this is mostly where we are right now. I do believe that we ended last episode with audience going to meet up with the possible sponsors for his newly conceived Army of the Light.
Cool.
No. That really is an army. Where you should cough is about the light, but it's an army.
It's a black light. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been the great title for the last episode. Black light.
The black light.
Oh, too bad. You should have said this last episode.
I should have. You know.
Oh man.
It's like when you're having an argument with someone and you feel like it's like after the fact, you're like, man, I should have said this.
In the shower.
Yeah. In the shower.
Yes.
No context.
Well, interesting.
I mean, look, nobody actually sees anything they wanted to see with a black light.
Usually. But there are exceptions. Okay, so as I said, last episode we ended with audience being escorted to one of the docked airships, where as he entered, he saw inside of the landing of this ship, I want to say the main deck, but no, that's really not it. This ship is more encased. It doesn't have the appearance of an actual ship. It's really just a large metal structure. Don't know why I kept getting metallic. Metallic, yes. Where was I? Yes, huge metal structure. From the outside, it looks a bit like a pumpkin seed, but with a different color. Sails, not exactly to the side, a bit diagonally made, as if it could deploy sails, 2 on top and 2 on the bottom. The color of this one is mostly red, with a little bit of what looks like gold color as you're entering it. So there's this little, yeah, sure, why not? An airlock, that works. So you're being taken through this first airlock, and as you enter, you immediately feel that, all right, the inside is, as you would expect, mostly made from wood, but with a few clues that there's something magical inside, a magical engine. You've seen a bit what the inside of those ship looked like in the beginning of your adventure. The pirate ship sort of had a feel similar to that, a mix of metal and wood everywhere, and always this hum in the background. Which is the energy flowing through the ship. Immediately when you enter, you see that there are other people there already. You recognize a few dwarves, not personally recognized, but I mean, in appearance. Dwarves, you recognize a few halflings. You recognize humans, and one or two dragonborn. As all of these people seem to just be going about their business, you get the impression that there are several crew mixed together. You start recognizing people that would probably feel like they are the head of these groups. One dwarf is wearing maybe a little bit more ostentatious clothing, which would help you recognize that he is probably from a prominent mining guild. So he probably sells a whole lot of metals throughout the Shattered Continent. You see one halfling who is wearing clothes that would suggest he is the leader of his group, but nothing that catches your eyes. He's just better dressed, and in his demeanor, the way he talks to others, you get the feeling that he's the one in charge. And just gleaming at a few things that he's shouting around, probably more oriented toward produce exchange, food, things to drink. While looking around, you do recognize two dragonborn that you know from the garden. One of them being your dear old friend, which you suspect he's probably some sort of warlock, but you've never pushed very hard to learn more about him. But Kudown is there. And not far from him, you see his sister, who is wearing clothes much more rich than the one she was wearing, when you saw her at the arena, suggesting she might actually have a position of power in here. And you recognize you're the one that introduced you to all of those people, Bastian. Surrounded by a few other humans, also wearing very bright colored clothes, suggesting that they might also be head of different merchant group. Do you have a reaction as you enter this room where you start seeing those heads still talking among themselves? They distractingly acknowledged your arrival in the room, but you have a feeling of being slightly underdressed.
I'm wearing my noble robes.
Yeah, I
with
thought he had his
gems.
noble clothes on.
I got my gems embroidered in my robe from ancient times. I want to see them have gems from an old city embroidered in their clothes. They don't have that. I don't know.
Jorg
They
is used
might.
to feeling underdressed.
You know, they have new gems. Yours
We're
are
not-
just old and dusty.
Me, you, and Fisher, Jorg, went back to the garden.
Oh.
He's
Yeah.
only there with Remy, I think.
I don't even know if I'm
Well,
there with Remy.
Jorg's still used to feeling underdressed. My point stands.
I don't even know if Remy came with me. Is Remy there?
I don't know if he was invited.
Well, nobody said you couldn't come, but no,
Yeah,
technically
no
you
one
weren't
said, no one said you
invited.
couldn't come.
All right, then Rami is right there next to you in his less fancy coat.
It depends, yeah, because I think
That's
everyone
still
else
a
went
coat
back
he's
to the
very proud
garden.
of.
It depends where Remy went after the thing. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would enter. I would look around. I would probably, seeing that everyone was still talking and not everyone was quite ready to probably sit yet, or, talk business. People were still catching up. I'd probably look for someone to talk to, and my eyes would probably fall on Kudown and his sister, because that's people I know, and I like talking to people I know. So
Okay.
so I'd probably wander over there with Bastion until he told me that everyone was ready to sit down and meet.
All right. Well,
It's the audience's first time in a noble gathering. He's not exactly sure of. Exactly.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Hold on here. I know I wrote that down.
Do we do the pig hunt before or after? Smash the tape.
We're hunting pigs.
Okay, here it is. Okay. Well, as soon as you arrive, you recognize Kudown's sister, who just looks at you and... Guard number 5 survived, apparently. Well, it was impressive for someone like you, I guess.
Yeah. Did you like the Shadow Dragon? Was that entertaining?
Well, yes, but technically you didn't defeat it. Your friend did. So there was something a little bit less impressive about that. But yes, I saw it.
No, I was too busy making sure, commanding everyone, making sure the portal got closed under the stage, dealing with the zombies, helping catch Fisher on his way back down from defeating so he didn't get hurt.
Yes, the menial labor. The things that you ask your underlings to do.
My underlings couldn't
Seems
command
pretty
everything.
Yes, of course.
Wouldn't trust them with that.
Well, I'm sure you will be able to find something useful for you. I mean, you're not very good at speeches. You didn't actually defeat your enemies by yourself. You almost got beaten by a rival, apparently.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it was
you
a
can...
close fight. I wouldn't say I was almost beat.
Oh, at least you can put up a show. We'll see how far that gets you. Well then, pick a seat. I'm sure everyone will be ready to receive you very soon.
I have no idea.
So, sorry?
I'm just confused. I have no idea what this girl's standing is at all. Absolutely nothing.
It takes a moment. But eventually...
I will not go take a seat because she told me to do that. But I will go stand next to a chair.
Okay. So, it takes a moment, but eventually Bastien takes a central position in there, and... Well then, I guess we have everyone we need. Only 2 of you, alright. That is always, at least it's more than just a representative. Please, audience, you are the central subject of tonight's discussion. So please, sit down. You need no introduction. So...
Audience will now take a seat.
Everyone has heard you. You hear someone say, unfortunately, talk, and we have an idea of what you can do. Now, maybe you are a bit curious about who will be sharing the table with you. So he turns around and he points toward the dwarf. Get
Oh, wait,
dwarf.
that was a sign for me to get out my note sheet. Give me 1 second. Okay. Good allies. Alright. Alright, we're good. We're ready.
Alright, so the dwarf starts, a voice that is a little accent that is a little bit thick for a dwarf, and he's just doing his best to speak in a common language. Yes. Well, my caravan represent the western trades, where many of the most profitable mines are. We do own quite a few mines, and have a fleet of... Turns toward one of the dwarf. 20? 25? I lost count a few years ago. You can get into the dwarves. Actually, it's 31 ships. 31 ships. So, whenever you look out, you look in the sky. If you see a ship with a large earthen thorn drawn on it, it's part of our company, and also our name.
And what goods do you mainly ship? What's your trade? I mean, you're dwarves, but I'd...
Mostly, sorry. Mostly we have metals and whatever you can find underground. A lot of our clients are actually dragonborns. They enjoyed quite a lot of minerals you can find, and as a matter of fact, I've heard that one rare mineral that was found in this island chain is a bit your responsibility.
Yes, if you're talking about, and I'll mention the dwarven mine. I don't have the name off the top of my head from where I was. I was like, yes, we went up there a while back, helped clear out some stuff, and found some interesting metal, and recently some crystals, but yes.
Yes, this is exactly why I've been called back here. The metal itself, although rare, isn't among the rarest of things, but crystals infused with that, there's something you can sell for quite a few buck.
Well, I'm glad that I'm helping out your trade.
I'm glad also. Gives me a little bit more of an understanding of kind of heroic deeds you can do.
What was your name? Just so I have a name for the...
It's a bit hard to pronounce in Dwarvish, so usually humans just tend to mash it up with something that they know. Most humans just called me Thad.
Thad. Alright. Well, pleasure to meet you, Thad.
I thought he said
And then-
dad.
No. And then in Dwarvish,
Like,
and then in
okay.
Dwarvish, and then in Dwarvish, and then in Dwarvish, I'll say, classic reading of, it is an honor to be drinking at the same table.
Well, that would be interesting. He answers you in Dwarvish. It would be interesting if your next discovery was something interesting to exchange and probably drink along the way.
I'll kind of give a nod of like, we'll see. Alright, so we got Thad, the Earth and Thorn Company, they do metals. Alright, got it.
The next one to take... That's me coughing and not one person. That voice was a bit hard on me. Sorry.
Now to switch into a high female voice.
Unfortunately, my voice doesn't do female quite easily. The next one is a halfling. So his voice is easier to do. Well, my trade is a lot less prestigious than that of the Earth and Thorn there. But we mostly trade in everything you can eat and drink. So please, if you actually find this profitable brew to share, come and visit us first. Don't worry, we'll also sell him at an advantageous price.
And what's your name?
Oh, Mike.
How do you spell that?
Okay, so I want to put an accent there, but you won't know the difference. M-A-I-H-K. Mike.
A-M...
A-I-H-K.
Okay.
You should
Oh,
pronounce
what
the
the-
first A as if it's detached from the word itself.
Okay.
Usually it's 2 dots that you put on
When
top
I
of
pronounce
the
it again a year from now when we meet this guy again, I will completely butcher it, but we'll say
Yeah.
All right, half in trade in food and drink. Emma got it. All right. Well, a pleasure to meet you. As we're always, of course, looking for good food and drink, as is the world. So it's a pleasure.
We provide some of the freshest fruit around the world. You'd be surprised how fast our ship can go. Admittedly, our fleet is not as big as our friend over there, or our friend over there, and she points toward Kudown's sister. But we have some of the fastest ship you can find. Can guarantee you we can get you fresh produce from the south within only a week. And we have the means to keep them fresh.
Do you transport spicy Jello ever?
Well, we could, but we mostly trade with the raw material.
I see.
Usually they keep longer, because if you...
I might have to put it in custom order with you if you go to the Southlands again for some spicy Jello.
Oh, then definitely. All right, then. We'll make a note of this.
Probably just imagine this. Your pen was like hovering over, like, don't need to remember you anymore. Oh wait, hold on. Seems willing.
Spicy. Yeah, she was talking about fruit. I'm like, I don't care about fruit. Spicy Jello though.
Spicy Jello plug. Write that down.
You have another... the next one that takes... Why am I having so much trouble with words today? The next one that starts talking. Forgot a word in there. Looks like a human. Humans are a lot easier to recognize as merchant because you've seen so many of them. He starts with saying, well, yes. Well, we mostly do business from the east. I'm sure you will have recognized a bit of a pattern there. West, south, east. And I'm sure you can guess which the fourth one is going to come from.
West again, right?
You hear someone laughing in the distance. And then you hear someone just whispering, I don't think he's kidding.
Come on, give me some credit.
Yes. Well, I represent our own small and very discreet guild. And to be quite honest, I am more of a spokesperson. leader of our expeditions, and, well, Commodore, you could say, couldn't come today. But me, myself, sorry, it's the first time I do this in front of so many people, and also someone who has drawn so much attention. People just call me Craven. You'll mostly be the one. You'll be dealing with me. I'm more of the representative in this area of the world. You can recognize our ship because they all have our emblem, which it looks like a bit like a hawk, but with a what looks like a nugget of ore in its claws. But it's actually because here someone, come on, spit it out. You recognize the voice of a dwarf. Weapons. We mostly trade in weapons and armor. Yeah, our emblem is actually the emblem of a house during a war. Most of their.
And how many ships are usually within your fleet?
Yeah. No, that's about right. 1 or 200. That's usually a good number.
Wait, 1 or 200 ships? Wait, what? Wait, it's a big difference between those. Wait, how many ships do you have in your fleet that comes up here usually?
Well,
depending on demand, I'm sure, but on average.
Well, yes. On average, we have 87 ships sailing the world at all time. Okay. We have a small reserve because, when war erupts, sometimes some people also will buy ships. So we can easily boost our fleet up to 270 ships within a month.
These people are stacked on it. All right. Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to doing business with you. As you know, every good group needs some weapons and armor, so I'm sure we'll be in plenty of communication. Or if not me, at least my head priestess or Bastian, I'm sure will be in discussion with you.
Well, yes. Definitely. Although there are not as many war here. Usually, we have a higher demand for this.
I really thought about saying not yet, but I did not say that. Not yet.
The fourth one that takes the takes center stage when talking and is Kudown's sister. Well,
does she have a name or it's not just Kudown's sister? No, I don't think she has introduced herself yet.
No, she hasn't.
I don't know.
She hasn't introduced herself, and this is done quite deliberately.
I'll just put Kudown's sister down for now.
That's right. You don't have an identity outside of your sibling relationship.
She looks at you and, well, I mean, it's not like you're going to need everything we're all going to give you, or could give you, or could buy. So I really don't see what is the point of making this such a ceremony. But you're talking to the northern. Why am I having so much trouble talking? Northern Corsair expedition. As you might have guessed from our name, we mostly make sure nothing illegal is being traded up north. And if it is, well, then nobody's gonna say anything if it's not in circulation anymore.
They're like corrupt police. Not even sure what to put here.
No, well, technically the Corsair war
They're like, yeah, I kind of know what they are. But
govern.
like,
But
thought you were gonna say
essentially,
they were
she does the same
NordVPN.
thing. She's sort of a
they're kind of mercenaries, but also like,
mercenaries, yes, but keeping the peace. But she gets to keep
mercenaries.
illegal stuff that they find.
Yeah, mercenaries. Okay, so she's. I'll put like legal black market. That's what I'll write.
And if you don't mind, I'd
Officer
rather
of
keep
state reappropriation.
I'd rather keep the number of my fleet discreet. We don't
That's
want
fine.
anyone starting to move around with large fleet. Commerce and pirates usually are very stingy with paying for unnecessary things. So, as nebulous as this can be, is always better for us.
Well, I'll say.
You see,
As
you see, Cowden just elbows her. Ah, yes, of course. Well, I guess if you need to refer to me personally,
Mother. Sorry.
Zalkaras.
I'm gonna need to spell it of that one too. Wait.
Zalk. K.
Z is Z.
Yeah, sorry. In French, it's
My fault.
Z, and for apparently half of the
Apologize.
English-speaking people, it's also Z. But
So you're gonna spell it Mother. That's how her name is spelled.
Zalka. This one is Garh.
H.
Zalkaga. Sorry.
Hey, everyone. All right. Just call her Zal for short.
Probably a lot of humans do.
Well, audience actually is a Dragonborn. We probably wouldn't, but we'll for my purposes, I'm also gonna call her Zal.
Because you're a human.
Yeah.
In real life.
Call him Zelly and then like put a little heart over the eye.
Oh no, I may have written her down in two places. Everyone else I wrote down in one. No.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
A minute.
Wait.
Well, at the top of the list, lower list, mid list. What are we talking here?
I mean, she's a rich dragonborn, like mercenary noble. I mean, you can't get a better bag than that. I mean,
We need an audience tier list after the whole campaign is done.
the audience tier list. I'll work on that for you.
Okay.
All right. I'll say, well, it's a pleasure. I'm sure again, me or Bastion or my High Priestess will be in contact with you if we ever need anything more special or particular. I'm sure we'll be in touch.
All right. Well, the last one to speak is Bastien. Well, now that the presentation of the major heads around this table are, we can all sit and talk more about how all of this is going to coalesce into something. As you might have guessed, audience, I mostly take care of the central region of the world. this island chain is a bit at the limit of my territory, but I do tend to visit quite often. I have a few interests on this island. So, you've shown your talents. You've shown where you lack talents also. Now tell us, what exactly would be so attractive for us to start funding you and possibly representing you throughout the world? We've seen your ability to put a great show, and we've seen the ability of your group to take care of threats. But what else? There are many groups around the world who can boast the same thing. What is special about you and your group?
Well, I would say multiple things. For one, and I would say the main reason, is I think that our group has a particular connection to the common folk that you may not find with many of the other groups, especially religions of the world, where I would say many religions focus mostly on prayer, the light, less earthly things, as you should so put it. My religion is much more into the meat and bread of the world. It, we have a system of where we like to both pay our faith and receive coins from our faith. We reach out to those in a way, to the regular people in a way that they can see, I'd say, a quicker value than just words and prayers. Also, more than that, we are, in the current moment, trying to deal with a problem that, as they would say, is bad for business around the world. With this army that I am trying to create, is there in place to protect the villages and people with their money and coins, which spend them on your goods, that the adventurers cannot protect from the hunter cult, which, as we all know, they are, I would say, not necessarily the group that is the best for business, causing major disruptions, hurting property, taking over the world. Aims usually aren't led to, especially by fanatics, aren't usually led to the best source of income for those merchants. So not only are we dealing with a current problem that you guys might have, which would be worthy of considering funding indefinitely, but in the long term, I think that we would be reaching the people to a much higher degree than many of the other organizations, which could lead for more quick and transactions than many of the other religions of the world.
You have the halfling, and you just go, what? I like the puns. Well, never mind.
I like the puns.
What puns? I didn't even know what puns I was saying.
Well, he thought that you made it them intentionally.
Okay.
Just go with it. Just go with it.
Well, I'm going with it. Do I need to roll a persuasion for that? Because, that won't go well.
Now you got this.
Yeah,
one.
sure. Go ahead.
You got this one. Come on.
Roll for
I got
puns.
this one. Do I get it? Do I get advantage on this one or no? Straight or no?
Believe yourself.
Straight for everyone, but you can have advantage with the halfling because he liked your puns.
Yeah, Remy does a jig on the table.
Oh God! I gotta turn. 1 second. I gotta turn off my thing again. Dice is rolling. Where is it? Settings. System. Yes. Use hardware acceleration. Relaunch.
Do what it is.
All right. Come back.
And the result
All right,
is
I don't know because the dice went away. All right, actually, you know what? I'm gonna be smart this time, and I'm gonna burn the first roll. I'm gonna burn this first roll. Doesn't count. My first roll of the night's never good, and I'm getting it out of the way.
All right.
Okay. You see, it was a 6. I knew it was gonna be bad. All right, this roll will count. There you go. 21. That's a 21 for everyone, and then for the halfling, it's 21 as well. But much better. There you go. See, I'm learning these dice. You just gotta burn the first roll.
It's like the first pancake. You always have to throw it away. It's never good.
I'm on to your D&D Beyond. I'm on to you. Figuring out your patterns.
All right. Well, you have a. They're all thinking. They're all looking at you. You know, the halfling seems to be very enthralled. Sorry, about what you were saying, and he's still talking about a few of the puns. You know, I mean, puns about food. Not a lot of people do that. The dwarf looks at you for a moment and, well, exactly, what problem do you have with earthly gods? And you said that there are a lot of, a lot of people are lacking these gods. It's kind of all the gods of dwarves.
Jeez.
I mean, they literally are about earthly things.
Yes, but let's be speaking completely plainly and honestly. How many outside of the dwarven people usually worship these gods? How many common humans and other races do you reach with these religions?
Well, to be quite honest, anyone that wants gem is ready to worship any gods. Yeah, but I understand what you're trying to say.
Put your dukes up. We're fighting right now, Troy.
No, I mean, it's just true that dwarven religions are popular among the dwarves, but they're not necessarily as wide-reaching outside of the dwarvish.
You know, we're still a lot of people, and we are the basic producer of rare metal. I mean, gnomes are fine, but they don't love it, you know?
Yes, but as you said, you were the ones trading mineral and orbs. I assume that you would be not looking to receive the same as what you're already trading. So, well, me as an adventurer can find opportunities for you. I'm sure much more your connection would be looked to for other goods and things that you could add to, you know, diversify your resources, as I could be reaching a wider population of individuals than you, while at the same time receiving your metals and ores and producing income for you through that.
Oh, no, I recognize that. I recognize that you can bring something to the table. You already did. I'm just wondering, what else? You know, you can't build an empire with a single mineral. You need more than just one. You need variety.
I agree.
How are you planning on getting that variety?
Variety in resources or variety in
Then whatever you wish to provide. Of course, resource is the main thing we deal with, but if you want to add something to this, I mean, variety is also important. I mean, if you only bring priests, we don't have a whole lot of priests needed.
Well,
you get
a
few ones by
said,
mind, but, you know.
my religion reached much more to the common folk than just priests. It's like, it just, even now in my Tampula, there's a wide variation of tanners, blacksmiths, cobblers, a lot of the working men, a lot of industry individuals. These people all have many different, of course, trades, resources, incomes. It's not, you could almost say that my religion in itself is a city within a city because of how many different individuals you see coming and it bringing to it. I don't think diversity is what we lack, nor will you be stuck with the classic nothing but priests in white robes.
I see. So you're saying that if you're missing raw resources, we could also turn toward you for people to process those resources.
Yeah, labor, of course.
Labor, yeah. We always need labor.
Whether they want to or not.
I can run some sweatshops for you. No, I mean, it's the way it is.
Yeah. That's all pretty interesting.
Gosh. Any other questions? Go around the room.
When your eye go over the halflings, well, I'm personally sold. I mean, he's not a very good public speaker, but I think it's probably just he's a bit nervous, or
I got
just
a 21. That was great for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it's probably just because he was, he never talked to that big of a crowd before, and it's a bit more private here, so we get a better feeling of how well you can talk to everyone. And I thought your puns were really witty, so.
Yeah, it's not audience's fault. It's Sam's fault.
Well,
I thought
the
that the
dice
audience
says
thought
that
it was
it's
business.
also audience's fault.
Actually, I would say my speech in the thing was much more audience fault than my fault. My speech was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was done with it.
Zal, since you want to call her that for ease, Zal said, well, we could always use people. I mean, I have enough ships, but more ships than people. And we do tend to burn through a lot of people, depending on the moment of the year. And they do say that they have tried to reanimate a dwarven expedition in the north that had been dry for nearly 50 years. I mean, if they ever succeed, we could use a few people. I'm sure they're going to need protection against the unlawful. Make sure that everything goes back to the general public, where it should be. Well, if nothing else, this could be an interesting resource. And, well, I guess it would also bring you a little bit of fame, since there would be people wearing your emblem amongst my crew.
It would also hopefully bring the word of my religion up into the north. Allow it to
Yes. Of course. But if I'm not mistaken, you are also from the north, so your religion is also there. Am I mistaken?
smaller village, but I would say it honestly probably is growing faster over here than over there.
I see.
I mean, I am the head representative of it, and I was sent over here to spread. So depending on what other members may be doing over there, I have not actually had contact with my northern village in quite a while. So I don't know exactly how far it may have spread from there.
So they sent their greatest representative as far as they could. Interesting. Then there are craven humans. Well, that's always very very interesting, and I'm sure you're going to need a whole lot of equipment, especially if you want to make sure that everything goes well with the cult, the wolves, the hunters. You probably need weapons.
Yeah, weapons and armor, of course.
Yes.
I actually
yes.
have a couple. I have a couple uniform model and designs for you that I would, drawings that I would like perhaps to be shown. As I think having a more uniformed armor under a religion could show some benefit of organization and morale. So I have a couple drawings I would like to show you. But
Absolutely. I'll be very glad, pleased to see them all. It's going to be my pleasure, and of course, yes, you're absolutely right. Uniformity within organizations is usually well taken, and also has a little bit of success with well, for affairs after the battle, if you get what I mean. He gives a little smile.
yeah.
Yes, no, definitely, and we can produce it very easily, and we'd be happy to have a small let's call it a group, a garrison of people, trained by you. It would make for interesting publicity for you to have a group traveling the world, showing the prowess, the competence of your organization, and the strength of. He looks at you for a moment, of the light, and just how well you represent all of this. So as soon as you get a good detachment of people, something like small army, anywhere between 1,000 and 5,000 people.
Yeah, all audience needs is 300.
300 spots.
Save money on armor if you just don't give them shirts.
Exactly.
Chisel the abs will intimidate them.
An army that's very easy to ration for,
And just so that people remember you more, maybe include a name, because just saying the dragons is not necessarily something that sticks in everyone's mind. Everyone has seen the dragon at one point. You just look up, and I'm sure after a few days you're going to see a dragon flying up above. Not above the cloud, because you wouldn't see them, but under the clouds. So maybe a name, something they can say that will bring people's attention to your detachment of people.
I'll work on that.
TNA. The Time Night Army.
Yeah, I'd be the time night. It would be TNC. Time Night Company.
Oh, that does sound good. And then the TM at the end, trademark.
Might have a hard time trademarking TNC.
I don't want to get sued, so just
Wait, what is TNC?
Just make sure that whatever you choose is not something that already exists, and from someone that
Technically, it'd
can
be,
sue me into
Technically,
oblivion.
it could be TK. I don't know.
It should be a K if it's
Yeah,
time.
I was gonna say TKC. It wouldn't be TNC, it'd be TKC. Knights and KN TKC.
Oh, there's a lot of TNCs. And
Yeah.
All right,
No,
well.
TNC is very popular.
All right. Well, yeah. If you ever need weapons, yeah, absolutely. And whenever you have enough people in your organization, in your army, then yes, we will definitely take a a group, a garrison, and maybe even give them a boat, a flying one, so they have more reach. They can reach more people.
Yeah. I just think to himself, I don't even have a flying boat. Why is my company getting a flying boat? Here's our flying.
Well, a floating boat, a boat that goes on the sea would cost a whole lot less, but it's also a whole lot slower. Yes, definitely. The moment you have a large enough order or a large enough group, we will be very pleased to help you in your endeavor.
Will be in, or actually probably, Bastion or my High Priestess will be in contact. I'm actually off. I will be off on a very important adventure, and I will probably be gone for the next few weeks pretty soon. But my Priestess and Bastion will be in touch.
Zal looks at you and, oh, that's always very interesting, but maybe we could use this to promote a bit more about you. What are you going to do? What is this quest? How is it going to help the common people, those you seek to help?
Well,
I'm gonna be honest. This is for revenge.
And I'll kind of bring in everyone close. Well, this is kind of a secretive, so I'll kind of like bring everyone close. This is kind of a secretive matter, but so don't let the word spread too much. But our party is actually headed out to
Save the world.
for the Forbidden Isles, and there we have found proof of perhaps a not quite but a demigod being held there captive by one of the ancient evils that lives there, and we are on our way to potentially free them and turn their light to the world, as well as freeing the Isles from the Dark Brain. So pretty important mission.
You get the dwarf just, oh, forgive me for saying so, but Forgotten Isles is a pretty generic name. There are a lot of Forgotten Isles.
Audience, I just kind of look at you and just be like,
Misty Isles.
"Is it the Misty Isles?"
Okay. Yes.
I don't know. We'll say I said that because audience would have known the name. I didn't know the name.
Sam's like, that's not my backstory. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, I said just replace everything I said with the Misty Isles.
Okay.
From there, right?
I assume these nobles know about the Misty Isles if they're anyone of anyone. So.
Well, the one that would react to this the most is Zal. So you're attacking northern myths. Well, that's always interesting. What exactly do you need to get there?
Right now, I believe my organization that I'm a part of was procuring a boat to get us there. We already have a guide, and yeah, and then just of course our own equipment. But if you recommend anything, I'm sure I would be willing to talk about anything if you could think of anything that would be helpful in our quest.
Well, it always depends on how exactly are you planning to get there. Quickly? Discreetly?
I think we were told we were getting a. Do you remember what was told to us by the garden? Fisher, what did they say
Remy.
that?
Well,
Remy,
technically you'd
someone?
be turning
Well,
toward
I'm
Remy
on
because
page.
he's the
Yeah,
only
Remy.
one there.
Sorry, no, I was asking outside the game.
Okay.
Remy, I guess I would ask in game. You can just answer.
You know, Remy is a living tape recorder. So
Yeah, I was like, Remy would actually go better. So yeah, I'll just turn to Remy.
It's like Remy at the very least would just like put up a talon up next to his beak.
But just he doesn't know, or it's secret. It's a
Sorry, a finger with the shushing motion.
Oh, it's a secret.
well, if your organization wishes to have experienced captain navigating the northern part of the world, I do believe there is an expedition being formed right now. It's not their purpose, but a few of my captain have expressed an interest in joining their group, and actually there is one I believe right now is having a ship built for him. If he's ready, he'd probably accept it. He is just the kind of pilot, of captain to be crazy enough to attack a myth.
What's his name? I'll bring it to my organization's attention.
Well, his name is Null. And I do believe that the ship he is having rebuilt is his own ship. A little bit of trouble he got into, and his ship took a little bit more damage than it could withstand and stay up. So technically it is the Kunal 2, which is being built. And yes, he knows him being called Null, and his ship being called Kunal is a bit of a redundancy. Don't mention it. You'll have better relationship with him if you do.
I will bring that to my organization's attention.
And of course, remember that whatever you accomplish, you were helped by a member of my coalition. You have Bastion.
Right, I feel like my god and this Dragonborn girl would actually get along really well. She honestly fits right in.
Bastion, after all this, well, everyone seems to be interesting one way or the other. Some later on, some immediately, and some in the very near future. So I guess everyone is ready to at least be part of this. Now, I do believe audience needs a little investment. I am pretty sure that he doesn't have the necessary fund to finish building a church. Or a temple, maybe?
Yep, the temple.
So, anyone would like to commit a little bit of money to help this poor fellow have a place where people can pray for his God that is not covered in rain, as it probably is right now. Get the dwarf. Oh, you know.
Dead quiet.
This is the real part of the conversation I care about. Give me that cash. Sweet, sweet cash.
Well, we're not really ready to invest money, but you say you need material. Mind having a temple made out of stone?
Stone is wonderful, strong, well built, and doesn't fall easily.
Well, and monetary value? How would you feel about us committing... how about the equivalent of 100,000 golden stones?
Oh, God.
Wait, what? You said 100,000?
Yeah.
Dude, construction's expensive, man.
Sell it.
Yeah, that would be,
Put the
that'd
gold
be,
on
that'd be
it.
wonderful. That'd be great.
Just for an idea, a small temple, you can look at about 500,000 gold to build it. So he's basically offering a fifth of the resource necessary to build the a between small and medium-sized temple.
Okay.
You get your
I mean,
people
I'll
out of the
take-
basement.
I'll take that. Yeah, I mean, I'll take anything they're willing to give us. So, yeah, that'd be great.
Tabiashi, I get the feeling you did not expect that building a temple could cost so
Well,
much.
Well, yeah, I was in the middle of reading some information on that island that I was stuck on, and all of a sudden I hear that number, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Some Toby Raimi fan fiction.
Yeah. I was putting it on Webtoons. Sorry.
We have fan
But
fiction
if they're
now.
giving us stone, that'd probably finish the entire foundation. So that'd be great. All the lower parts.
Well, you'd at least have a place to put people where they don't get rained on.
Yeah.
Or as my cousin once said, peed on by the sky.
Nah, you know what? Actually, I need my temple of pure marble. I don't know how much that's going. No.
Do you actually say marble? Okay.
Audience knows dwarvish. He knows how much stones cost. He understands that 100,000 in marble is like not even enough for maybe like a room. It was straight.
Alright, well, you can probably have this ready, well, within the month, you should start receiving those stones. I'll send out a word amongst, the other members of the fleet, and I'm pretty sure someone is somewhere near an excavation at this point right now, so... Depending on where they are on the world, you should be starting to get a few stones. Anywhere between 2 weeks and a month.
Sounds perfect.
The halfling just takes a moment and well, unfortunately, most of what I can provide has an expiration date, except for alcohol. Many temples actually do have a bit of their monetary value based in preserved uh, foods and drinks. Um, I'd be ready to put forward 50,000 gold, and how about 10,000 gold worth of alcohol? It would still be young, it would age with the temple. So I wouldn't recommend just giving it out. It's more
Alright.
something to have a base value for what you're building, and like all good monastery, um, feeding those you're trying to protect always gives you an interesting return. So we'd be ready to add to this 5,000 gold worth of a variety of grains.
Excellent. Very good.
All right. We'll have this ready. Most likely somewhere in the same range as my friend over there, and he points toward the dwarf. Somewhere between 2 weeks and a month, ships should start arriving. The human is go. Well, I mean, I, 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 I understand that this is the investments are important, and it gives in return. But something could happen between then and if I just start giving out money before you do anything, especially if you're going to play in the backyard of a larger cult than yours, religion, I mean. It's
Let's go.
we just want to make sure that you don't get wiped out before our investment can fructify. So let's say that we are going to build a ship, and when it's ready, it's going to be yours. If you have enough people to fill it and send it in expeditions, and from there we'll see what you need. But if you're ready to put up some money and buy some equipment, I'm sure there is a way that I could convince those standing behind me, above me, I mean, to hasten that, make a better deal sooner.
All right. Well, I'll let you know on that. As I said, I'll probably send you before I leave on my mission with some of the charts, and I'll give you a quick outfit of what we're looking at the moment.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm sure that this will work. Zal looks at you and, well, my contribution has already been stated. I mean, if you don't want to take my captain to help you achieve your goals, I could probably give a sum to compensate and make this deal palatable for you, I mean. But also you will have just refused help that I'm giving you freely, so...
Okay.
We're on Dragon Tank.
I think my investment has already been made.
All right. She's as much as Sundarian business as she is in how she acts. Oh, good. Breakthrough. Okay.
So, Bastin looks at all of this, and I am very well placed to mediatize all of this as far as I can throughout the island chain, and easily within a few weeks, the neighboring island chains, and we'll work out like this. I know it's probably not the money that you were hoping for, but publicity campaign can be very profitable if done properly. Don't worry, we will write our own speeches.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Well then, since business has been concluded, I think we are ready for a little bit of enjoyment for tonight. How about some refreshments? Maybe a proper meal? Everyone looks at you. You feel a moment where all eyes are on you. And maybe a bath before the meal starts.
I bathed before I came here.
You hear one of the dwarves next to the one that's been speaking so far just go, yeah, he's been bathing in the rain. It's not the same thing.
Bathing in the blood of my enemies.
Under his breath.
The dwarf looks at you and, come follow me. You'll take it from a group of people who do not bathe unless they need to. We'll make it worth it. And he takes you out of the room.
Well, you know what? I'll accept because I know Remy always appreciates a good bath. So.
Yes. You're What type of avian creature are you? What designation should we give him?
I mean, he's my friend. What do you mean designation?
Well, it's like when you call someone the friend of your brothers. Well, he is... I mean, he looks like a bird, but he can't fly, so it would be closer to a running bird. So a fowl, maybe? A poultry?
Penguin.
He's my friend Remy, and Commander, I'll just throw this out there, I haven't actually thought about this, but Commander of the Stark Division of the Dragon Religion. That's his title.
All right then. If this is how you want him to be known as among us, come with us, Commander. We will have something for you.
Remy, you good with Commander? Kind of throwing him a thumbs up, like, I don't know. Does he want Commander? Does he not want Commander? Yeah.
Maybe gotta just choose on the title for a moment and just gives a thumbs up.
Alright, Remy's a commander now.
Alright. You just got a few promotion.
I didn't want to say commander of the shady part of my religion. Commander of the ugly.
Alright.
Of the shadow of light.
So, for the evening, you are taken in a separate room where you are given everything you need to have a proper bath with soap that would probably cost the yearly salary of a normal peasant. And, you gotta admit, there is a difference. For you, Remy, it's softer on the skin. It's interesting. And it helps oil your feathers more, it's you're sort of wondering if that's how duck feels. I've always been a little bit jealous of the fact that they never get wet. You are pampered, then you are brought back to the table where you are... Well, unless you want to do something in the bath and talk among yourself while you're bathing. Okay.
Although, actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
Okay.
Remy would actually have to do this. He would have to do this.
Okay.
In the middle of the bath, Remy thinking about it just turns to audience and says, "From this day forward, your name shall be Remy." And then on audience's voice, "My commander," and then points at audience.
Yes. Oh, I don't know which way he was going with this. You are Commander Remy now, and I am also your commander. I don't know which one he was going for.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it.
It's
Oh,
like,
you are. I am. Oh, Commander Remy. I am now. My name henceforth shall be Commander Remy. I don't. Which one is he going for? Audience will start saying lots of
do you
things.
say that?
Yes.
You are I think you got it, but so I could say it. I could go ahead and say it above Taylor. You are essentially deciding how Remy will sound when he addresses himself.
Oh. Okay. Audience will say it more firmly then. Henceforth, I shall be known as Commander Remy.
Then repeats in your voice, "Henceforth, I shall be known as Commander Remy." But in your voice.
Oh, the cult is growing. Oh no, they have commander now.
They have commanders. There's a promise of having a flying ship. A fifth of the temple has been provided in resource.
This is the
You
end.
should make a system of rewarding people for signing on other people, and the more people they sign on, the more they get reward.
That sounds familiar.
Genius.
This is the beginning of the end.
Isn't that illegal in our world?
I don't think
Maybe.
Yeah, but they don't know that yet.
Yeah. They haven't
I
made
mean,
it
look,
to
how
this
else
far.
are you going to reach
Nobody's-
level 4?
I'm just trying to get at the top of this kind of like triangle line, like arrow.
Yeah.
I mean, Toby, you know
Like a
how to get to the top.
three-dimensional
All you have to do
triangle.
to get to the top is join audience religion. You can be a commander too.
So
Stop.
legally speaking, just so that we don't get banned, don't get involved into pyramid schemes.
No.
It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a multi-level marketing.
Multi-level marketing. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So now Remy having a new title. Well, that's gonna be great if you ever go back to the past. Now Remy having a
The
title,
commander of what?
and both of them
They
being
put
properly bathed and cleaned. You are taken back to a large chamber where everyone is there, mostly the head of each of these organizations. So it's 5 people plus audience and Remy, and are presented with a feast that befits a table of 5 people capable of buying an island chain whenever they want to. So,
Alright. So I'm eating with like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, like not
Steve Jobs when he was still alive.
Steve Jobs. Yeah. Nice.
You know, part of me wants audience just like state for the record. It's like, by the way, guys, like I'm not wearing a wire, and well, I brought a wire, but I swear he's cool.
I'm always wearing a wire when Remy's with me.
All right, so audience and Remy are having a wonderful night. Meanwhile, Jorg and Tobiashi, they both feel like the sky is slowly falling on their head. They don't know why. They just have this sinking feeling of being
It's about to get worse.
the tool of their unmaking being built right now. And Fisher is oblivious to all of this because I believe
there.
you went back to the garden and started researching again.
Yeah, we went to. I went to the garden too. Wait a minute here.
Yeah, but Fisher is
Fisher's just
doing research just while you are
Oh, yeah.
trying to figure out where the monk that you brought back to life after killing and then letting him spend several weeks
Trying to
in
figure that
the
out,
freezer went.
I mean, you could call that research.
Why is this spell being written in a spiral?
Yeah.
So, well, it's an interesting place to take our break as audience and Remy are having their evening. Fisher has already stated what his evening is about. Research, unless you want to ask questions to someone somewhere. And Jorg and Tobiashi, it's about creating your trip to the monastery.
Yes, if Jorg wanted to go with me, trying to figure out where the monastery is, and then I would try to look into something else.
Okay, well, we'll do that when we come back from the break.
George would love to visit the monastery.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Valenvi, do you want ducks?
She probably wants
Speak
ducks.
now or forever hold your peace.
All right.
Fireplace it is.
What? We
Fireplace? Well, you know, she needed to say something and she didn't. So, all right, fireplace if that's what you want.
Yeah, fireplace is the punishment now instead of the ducks.
Oh yeah, because we all know you really want the ducks.
Yeah,
So
we don't want the ducks, so.
Yeah, no.
Fire queen.
what happens?
All right. Yeah, still
Actually
nothing.
going-
I don't think she's there anymore. She just came by, said hi, and then left.
Yeah, she's not doing too good today.
Oh,
Oh no.
but, well, maybe just this time because she's not feeling well, we'll give her ducks.
Ducks. God, I can see who's in here. Yeah.
Well,
there's
Yeah.
Jorg.
We will give what we know will bring
Oh.
them happiness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who else is in here?
All right. I'll let you look at who's here during our break. And we will be back in 15 minutes. So, see you in 15 minutes. Bye.
Peace.
Hello, welcome back. Oh, and look, audience is also coming back. Aw, he doesn't have pizza.
I have hot wings in the microwave.
Oh,
No, we're just saying we're disappointed. You didn't bring pizza.
me?
Yeah.
Be right back.
I just finished a whole bag of McDonald's.
Yeah, but that's not pizza.
Now I got a whole giant bowl of mint chip ice cream with the whole thing of cookies with it for round 2.
Oh my god.
But that's not pizza.
It's like coming to you next month. McDonald's pizza. Only instead of pepperoni slices, they're little hamburgers.
One of these days, my metabolism is gonna fail me, and I'm gonna cry.
Well, no, I'd say you're going to go insane.
Well, no, I'm just gonna actually gain weight.
No, but I can tell you, having lived this, you're gonna feel like you're going insane.
Well, you see, you could just be L, where you can just like use your brain so much that it burns through all your calories.
Yeah, maybe that is
Because that's
actually.
how science
why
works.
you don't gain weight.
No, actually, that's not that far. It's not that stupid to say. The brain,
It does.
the thing that uses the most energy out of the brain is keeping you balanced. So, doing things which pushes your body out of balance continuously and forces your body to always find its equilibrium again is the thing that uses the most energy out of your brain. And your brain is the organ that uses the most calorie in your entire body.
Does not justify the amount of calories that man eats.
No, but it is nonetheless what uses the most in the body.
Listen, I think like half a bag of cookies and a giant bowl of mint chip ice cream is perfectly fine.
Oh, I can tell you the last time I ate that. No, I can't tell you the last time I ate that. I don't remember ever eating that combination. All right, so for those of you who don't want to hear people talk about food for the next hour and a half, let's go back inside.
Food podcast now.
Yeah, well,
I'd be down.
it's just a part of Dungeons and Dragons. Players sometimes stop at an inn and they eat. So let's have an actual tavern meal.
I've had my part of the session. This is all you guys now. I can just sit back
Welcome
and
to
relax
the-
and enjoy.
Welcome to the Dungeons and Donuts podcast.
No, please don't.
All right.
That
So,
was a nice.
well,
Never mind.
oh, what were you gonna say?
His voice was nice for. I forgot the word for it, which is why I said never mind.
Okay,
ASMR?
Yeah.
I think that's
or
what he's
product placement.
I know that's what you were going for, but like unironically, it was nice.
you would not be the first person to tell me that.
No. I'll admit it freely. Remy Zachary has a very musical voice, so this is a bit of shame because I know that if he starts singing, we'll get demonetized or sued after a single episode. Otherwise, I'd be all in for it. Especially he plays a kenku. I feel like a kenku which speak by giving music lyric is a fantastic way of playing this character.
As long as it's a cover, you'll be fine. You gotta state it though.
Every single time.
Or the episode gets paused like every time, just like, note, the following is about to be a cover. Unpaused. The cover has ended. The session will now continue.
All right. So, for the next, well, at least the evening, we're gonna ask for the rest of the 2 days. After that, Fisher, is there something you want to do for the end of this day? You went back after this very public execution. Well, public for the followers of audience, but not public for the city. Execution of someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fisher was just trying to not think about it too hard and burying his head in work. So I believe I asked Ramy for his virtual spellbook, and he gave it to me.
Yes.
So I was going to spend 12 hours and 300 gold copying down every spell in there.
All right, so Fisher spends most of the day and a little bit of the night copying spells, adding pages to his spell book and trying out a few things because it's all part of the spell writing process and it justifies 300 gold. Because
Yep.
300 gold ink, that's pricey ink.
I think it's also material components.
Usually when you're
in
learning a
practicing
spell,
the spell.
exactly. You're trying a few things, you're learning the spell. So you have to try and cast it. And then it blows up in your face, then it works half, and then it works completely. Then you get overconfident, and then it...
And then you make a little mistake at the bottom of the page, and you got to do a whole new page because it's ink.
Yeah.
You try to cast detect magic, and you wind up detecting something else, and you change rooms.
All right. Well, there's not a lot that I can play with you with this request. So you have a pleasant evening writing down stuff, looking at Terry, looking at you, and looking at him try to figure out his own spells. And, well, that's your evening.
Goes by so fast.
When you're having fun, it just finished. You there. Gives shivers. So all right, so while Fisher is writing and spellcasting, Jorg and Tobiyashi, is there something you'd want to do?
Well, I'd first tell Jorg then. So Jorg, I remember some parts of me being on an island, and in the head of the guy that we interrogated, they were talking about how they're focusing on an island that is keeping them kind of upright at the moment. So I wanted to see if it's the same island that I was on, and probably get a few maps so I could study it while we're going on our next big quest. And go to the monastery where we revived that guy from.
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to join me?
I would like to join you. I think that sounds pretty cool.
All right. And then we can maybe find some stuff on how to defeat a cult.
How long of a quest are we looking at?
I mean, the quest that we're going on with the whole group to the island.
Okay, so
and
we're
the
not
Missile Island chain.
we're not going without them. That's good.
Yeah, no, we're not going without them. No, this will be something that we research while we're on the Mistle Island chain adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be studying the maps, and then before we go there, we could go to that monastery just to check on our prison companion.
Sounds good.
All right, anything you'd like to do? Anything you got to take care of?
I don't think so. I might go have my little blanket turned into like a cloak or something.
Okay.
Easier to wear that one.
All right, so we could probably go do that first, and then get the maps, and then go to that monastery.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need it though, so like we could just go straight to the monastery.
Yeah, but it's better to have it. Probably be done, I would say, in like at least 2 or 3 days. And 3 days
Yeah.
is when my items are done, so
Oh,
might as well get it done while we're going.
sounds good.
Especially if you're not having it enchanted with anything, it's just the raw. potential of the material you're using,
Yeah.
you can have a
Yeah.
cloak made in 1 or 2 days.
Would I have to attune it if I had it enchanted?
Depends on what kind of enchantment you want to put on it.
Okay. I won't enchant this yet. I might get something enchanted because I do have a lot of money.
Okay.
But I need to figure out what enchantment I want.
Well, you have a good weapon,
Mm-hmm.
the spear
Have
that
a
you
couple-
had made.
It's the spear and the staff.
The staff is good.
Projectile.
Both grant you. Yeah, you're really a
And
druid.
the
You walk around with
protection.
3 sticks with you. A staff, a quarter
A
staff,
spear.
and a spear.
Hey
Yep.
man, it's got a better reason to keep them than the sticks I keep lying around. Those are just cool.
Look at this cool stick
Wish they
I
were
found.
magical.
Yeah, I don't really use the quarterstaff anymore. Sell that.
So I guess that's all that we do.
So,
Jorgen the monk time.
okay. Finding the maps. It's not going to be too hard. Like I said, I'm also trying to update the map with a software. So that'll just be an insight for me to finish that map, and I'll use this as an excuse to show it off. So that's not going to be very hard. Information given, the garden always trying to update everything it has. The map might look like it's been built out of different fragments. There's probably different quality to how everything is written. There's a lot missing from the forest and the mountains because not a lot of people have done anything in the mountains, but at least you know they're there.
Yeah.
And you have a greater sample of all of the villages and town, so you'd have a better representation. And you also have on that map the 2 islands that you started on.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago.
I guess a really detailed, like it's more detailed than the rest of the place in the mountains, the dwarven place.
Okay. You want something a bit more detailed about that?
Well, no. I would just say we have it because I gave them the
Okay.
information on the place.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a good chance that you'll have something rather precise. Maybe not the name of all of the villages are going to be there, but the name of all the cities and towns are going to be there. Yeah, it's easy enough. And after that, you have your expedition to this monastery, which lasts... Hold on, when you start there...
Thinking the portal to the closest roof.
Yeah, no, that would be Ota now.
Yeah.
And you're not going with Fisher, so this is the distance you can do. It's 1 day. It's 2 days. Or it's 1 day. So you can take the commercial route, which would have you sleep outside once. and then you'd be able to finish the rest of the road to get to that monastery, which is located on the northernmost point of this island. You wouldn't be able to stay there for very long. If you want to stay there for an entire day, you'd have to just call in and say, "Oh, we'll arrive at the end of the third day and not the beginning."
Okay. Yeah, we won't be there for very long. I just want to go check on them and see what's going on there.
Okay.
See if they started questing like we told them to.
Okay. So following... It's been a while since I rolled on those tables.
Oh, and you said there would be a crossroad in between there.
Yes! You're looking for the coin on the ground?
George, would we look for the coin on the ground? You want to go speak to the guy again?
He's talking about Ganbu. The one that showed you all of this weird inventory.
Go check him out real quick. All right, yeah, we'll look for the coin then.
Okay.
So like, anyways, have you done any more experimenting with those mushrooms that we found in the garden?
I mean, no, but I could.
I think it'd be good. Maybe finding like something we could use on bows, audience. If they get too out of hand.
Yeah, I think we might need something like that.
We have to come up with a contingency for. I feel like
using my potion making kit more soon. So I think we'll be able to. But I don't know. Drugging him seems kind of weird.
Well, drugging people would be more on the poison making profession. What you're learning is more to the feat that I'm finishing to build, or rather write, because all of the abilities are there. I just want to make sure that when I'm writing it, I'm not writing something that someone will just say, "Oh wow, I can use that and mix it with that, and now I'm super powerful." No. Wording is important.
But yes, I feel like
Someone needs to tell Wizards of the Coast that.
Oh, you should see D&D 1, but I'm other than
I've
that,
seen it. I'm not impressed.
The Rangers, man, the Rangers. So yeah, George, as I was saying, it seems like we're beginning. Something's beginning with audience. We're doing this while we're walking through, or like traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a day and a half of travel, so.
Yeah. There's something starting with audience. The execution in front of his followers has to say something. I know Fisher might, most likely, would be on our side. I'm not saying we start anything just yet or try to convince people of taking sides, but I know Remy already probably taken a side.
Yeah.
And whatever they're doing is gonna. We have to have a plan. We have to have a plan for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to see. So far, he doesn't have like an army
Or a malicious intent.
as far as we know. Yeah. Or malicious.
From what we've seen, it hasn't been like, oh, he's trying to take over everything all at once. But if he gets that army, he probably could.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's out there talking to them right now, so who knows what kind of resources he has.
But yeah, we should probably keep it to ourselves. Just keep working towards it. Just stay regular, act natural.
Yep.
Eat fibers.
will.
Sorry.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
That's it. As we're walking down the road, as we're traveling.
All right, all right. The first part of the day is pretty uneventful.
Bugbear comes out of nowhere now.
First part of the day is pretty uneventful. Like I said, the first part of the day is pretty uneventful. And the weather is very pleasant for walking. It's not raining.
Nice.
Sky is pretty, it's clear, it's beautiful as always, it's windy as heck, but at least you're not getting soaked by the rain.
Yeah, that's good.
And roughly after 3 hours you get to that crossroad and you take a moment, you look around, and you see a large coin sitting there in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
You want to do the honors, or should I?
Oh, you do it.
All right, I'll pick up the coin.
Well, just like the first time, the moment you turn around and you ask, Jorg, do you want to do the honor? You hear that voice. Why do they keep changing those posts every single time?
Oh, hey, long time no see.
Hey! I guess. Depends on your perspective. How long has it been?
How long has it been? A couple weeks?
Somewhere like a month.
Yeah, it's been about a month for us.
Really?
Yeah.
How long has it been for you?
To what do you want me to compare that?
Human days.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of detail missing in that answer.
The human time
many-
spectrum.
Yeah. How many 24-hour periods?
Minutes, hours.
Or don't answer that.
I don't know.
Or don't answer that.
I've had time to make a little bit of tidying up in my tent. Always new things arriving. Always new religion forming. Oh, I think now that I think about it, I think I saw the emblem of your friend somewhere in my collection. I'm guessing that he has managed to touch the heart of enough people for it to appear there. Congratulations for him. Although I'm not sure this is... Well, anyway, I sell these things without discrimination, so...
That's
Yeah, how
good.
does
That's good.
As long as they
Can
come
it
with a
touch the
warning.
heart?
Exactly.
What are you gonna say, Jorg?
Can it touch the heart? Like, does it matter how it touches one's heart? Or if he starts, like, pillaging and it touches their heart negatively, will it also...
Well, that's what I mean. So long as you give a little bit of warning to someone buying this emblem.
I see. Well, yeah, we're here to look at some stuff, I guess, since we haven't been here for a while.
I see. Yes, of course. Give me a moment, and he starts walking, and you just turn around in the direction where he's walking, and there is a small tent there
All right, I'll
that
enter.
wasn't there before.
Let's go, Jorg.
Yeah. I'll enter.
When you enter, you find yourself right next to this huge dragonborn that has a bit of a grayish color, taller than audience and wider than audience. You remember him? He's the bouncer.
Oh, he's a bouncer. Okay.
He's his bouncer.
Yeah. He's actually the same bouncer that was at the expensive place that we went to.
No, that was more of a Goliath. This one is an actual dragonborn. Although he looks taller and larger than an audience.
He's like, hey, nice to see you again.
He,
I don't remember.
he just gives you an awkward wave.
As it should be. So what new things have you got in here? Any
as you ask him, your eyes suddenly look back at what's inside of the tent, and you sort of remember, all right, that's so much bigger in the inside than in the outside. It puts back into perspective what you just said about he had time to tidy up his tent.
Yeah.
It feels like it's big enough in here to put a city in. Otanel would fit in here.
Holy crap.
Damn.
Okay. Well.
I think it would probably be just quicker if you just walked in and explored a little bit. You know, like always, you're just gonna feel drawn to whatever you need and whatever you want.
All right, I'll go in there. Is there any anti-dragon spray around here?
You do remember what I deal in. They're
Yeah. Let's see. Anything? Actually, you were talking about the emblem of the dragon, right? Before we walked in here. Where's that at?
Oh, give me a moment.
Yeah, what?
That way. Follow me.
All right, I'll
Oh,
follow him.
Mr. Jorg, how is your tiny blob doing?
Oh my gosh, I forgot
Forgot
about that.
him. I haven't let him out.
Well, it's good.
supposed
Have you
to
been
feed him?
feeding him?
Can I open him? No.
That's the blob I drank. That's
That's what you. They just the gnomes stole it, stuck it in a potion jar, and handed it to the audience.
So, do you
I'll pull the jar out.
reluctantly, hesitantly? You look in, and you know it doesn't wiggle, doesn't move.
Uh-oh.
damn. You killed it.
I killed it.
You did remember to feed it at least once a month, right?
I did feed it since we came here. Once.
Right.
I'll drop some jerky in there. See what happens.
You just drop it in there, and you look at the jerky just floating on this small jar filled with what looks like green liquid now.
Well. Sorry, small blob.
Well, actually,
Oh?
I said you have to feed it once every month. I have been counting days.
Ooh.
It takes a good solid minute. And then you start seeing a little bit of fizzing where the jerky is floating. And it slowly starts being absorbed.
I'm gonna keep better care of this.
Try to. Do you have like any notes you could like write them in? Blob.
Yeah. I'll start D&D notes in my bullet
Wait,
journal.
what? Sir, what happened when he lets it out again? What would happen?
It'll eat whatever it finds.
Ooh.
Okay, sounds good.
So
That on audience,
Th-
but
this is
Oh,
why
I
it's
love
written on the cap to not put your hand inside.
okay, that's good to know. Any? Oh yeah, so we were going to the the symbol of the dragon.
All right, right. Here, this way. So, Georg, for your information, you had 3 more days before it died. So-
That's good we came here. See?
yeah. Whew. Sorry, Blob. I'll take better care of you.
So, it takes a moment, and you see this wall filled with emblem effigies, and you see. You didn't know there were so many gods. Some of them you have no clue whatsoever what they represent. They are weird shapes, size. Some you do not want to have an explanation for. Some you would like to have an explanation for. Variants of some, which would suggest there are even families among gods. You look at one emblem and you look at another emblem. You look at a third one. It feels like the 3 of them are related in some way.
Okay.
There are
The head of the
thousands.
The body of a dragon and the tail of a dragon.
There are thousands of emblems, and it's becoming clear that what you're seeing is not just the gods of this world.
Okay. Just Jesus on one. No. Okay. So.
If you want to
Wow.
search, I'm not sure you will be able to recognize it.
So you said it was like somewhere over here. Do I have to like? look through all-
Yes. Hold on. I do believe it's a small one. Hold on.
So they're just emblems, not like items.
Is there only one of them?
Well, there's only one of them when someone comes in, you know.
Okay.
But I do have reserve, you know. There is a backstore to this place, as Commercant says.
Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Let me see. And it takes another minute of walking in front of that wall. Then suddenly, here it is. And he reaches out and takes something the size of a coin. Not as big as what audience keeps showing everyone. Or
Yeah.
Remy. This one is the size of a coin. Just a little bit bigger. Maybe something like a doubloon size. And-
Okay.
Oh, goodness. I'm shaking my camera. Sorry. I'm doing this and I have one hand on the desk, so whenever I'm doing this, the camera starts shaking.
So do you have all sorts of symbols, different gods, different things?
Well, yes. So long as there are at least a few people worshipping someone enough for the god to receive power, the emblem is there.
I'm gonna try to explain this emblem to you. This symbol, this. So I seen it a long time ago, and it's kind of come up again. I know you probably have a symbol of the hunter cult somewhere around here, if you've ever heard of them.
That's a pretty generic term. You'd have to be a little bit more precise. A lot of people call themselves hunters.
Well, there's this symbol that's related to these people that we have been in conflict with. It's kind of like ever-changing. You can't really wrap your head around it. Maybe get a headache when you look at it.
There is one word that always comes in your mind whenever you try to figure out its shape. The more you try, the more it hurts. But eventually, the only word that manages to come out is always the same. It's unshaped.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like it's the only word that comes to mind is unshaped. Do you have an unshaped emblem?
Huh. Well, I mean, there are gods who do manage to change shape quite a lot. Not all gods have an actual fixed shape.
Hmm.
Some of them exist in spheres so conceptual, they really don't have a physical form. You can't call them by any pronouns that you've ever heard. You can't describe them with anything you've ever seen. They just exist as pure conceptual energy. Usually, those are greater gods, though. I've never seen some of those that are um, lesser gods.
Okay.
Very
Have
dangerous.
you seen any? Would you
Oh,
have any?
there are a few. Some of them do have emblem that changes, but let's see. And he looks closely with this. And Tobiyashi, there's something odd that happens while you're looking on the wall, and you manage to you see it because of your very high passive perception. While you're looking on the wall, you do notice from on your peripheral vision, you notice 6 emblem that just cracks and fall to dust. It's probably 50 feet away. You
Okay.
just see those 5 emblems just
I guess I would go over to where they were on the wall. There's like nothing there anymore.
no. Their emblem is just broken and fallen to dust.
Hmm. The heck. Get back to me if you see something like that. I'm gonna look around over here. So there's dust on the ground, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
They just felt the dust.
That
the
emblem
ground.
has been reduced to a pile of very, very, very fine dust. It's nearly
Elemental dust.
fine sand.
Okay. I'll pick up the sand. I'll pick up the dust. Not knowing what it's for. It was 5 emblems in a row.
Yep.
I'll pick it up and put it into a bag. Like a leather satchel that I'm holding.
George, you do see Tobiyashi being drawn by something. Your passive perception is not. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not saying stupid things. Actually, I'm not sure. What is your passive perception since you leveled up, Jorg?
It is 17.
17. Oh, still 17. Okay. Actually, it takes a bit more time than Tobiyashi for you to notice this, but you eventually notice it also. Your passive perception is very close to Tobiyashi's, and while he's going toward one, you also see another one while you're walking. Just 2 emblems just go and
Damn. I want to ask why that's happening. Is it just that they lost followers and don't have enough?
So you're asking out loud, Ganbu, why did that happen?
Yeah.
He's sort of half distracted. Hold on a minute. What did you say you saw?
A couple of emblems just fell to dust.
Yeah. It happens, especially right now. There's, let's call it difficult times. Usually, it's either a god has lost all of its followers or he's dead.
Ah, damn. This proves that the dragon is alive.
Although, Jorg and Tobiyashi, you are the one who has the highest religious role, Tobiyashi.
Okay.
You have never heard of a god dying. Something that can kill a god doesn't make sense. Gods become dormant when they lose all of their followers. They can live for extended period of time, and by that, centuries and sometimes millennia before they petrify. Even then, it is possible to revive a god after a while. Some gods become trapped for thousands of years, and then suddenly a follower starts worshipping them again, and they just revitalize.
I'll
A god dying? That's like watching the stars and seeing one star becoming brighter, bright, and then disappearing. It happened once every century at most.
You just have like 8 do it.
So, you said hard times. Do you know exactly when this started? Because it's pretty unusual for gods to die altogether. Maybe the emblem gets smaller. Maybe they go dormant, but usually they don't die.
Oh, that's all a question of perspective. Ah.
Like within the past 1 human month, 2 human months, a year.
Oh no, you wouldn't see it during your lifetime.
Uh-huh. And why are we seeing so many die now at one time?
Takes a moment and he looks at you. Why are you asking that question?
Well, it's just odd to me that they're dying in rapid concession right in front of my eyes. There's a problem that we've come up to, it's including the symbol and this avatar that we tried to stop not too long ago. Before we came to you, there was an avatar that was brought to life, and
Okay.
we weakened it, but weren't able to totally defeat it. And that's why I'm asking about this symbol that can't be shaped or doesn't have a form. There's someone who has been with them or that works for them, been helping them. That when we tried to interrogate someone in their mind, it brought up that symbol, and I think it might have something to do with that or something with our friend's religion. So I'm just trying to get a better perspective on why this would be happening all of a sudden and when it started to happen.
Well, it's like I said, it's a question of perspective. From here, it happens. It started happen a few moments ago, but I have enough time to tidy up this place with a few moments. So it really depends on your perspective. When this place it isn't tethered to a realm. Time is its own thing in here. It's a bit hard to tell how much time has passed unless I'm tethered to some place, which makes sense why my maps are never up to date.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then I'll ask more in your perspective kind of question. Did it start happening last time you saw us?
Oh no, before that.
Before that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so more than 2 to 3 months ago. Maybe 4. Maybe before I got back.
I'm pretty sure you weren't born when this started.
Well, yes, but I mean, before we got here, like long before we got here, how many times would it happen a day? How many would die? Well, not a day, in a moment.
Well, there has been a unusual quantity of them shattering. But I guess the universe is just going through a phase of regeneration. I don't know. It happens. Not a lot, but not often, but it happens. I'd say. Well, the wall looks a little empty right now. You look at the wall and you see something that feels like 800 feet of emblems all in front of you. But he's calling it a bit empty. I don't know. It feels like there's maybe a third of what was that is still there. It's been slowing down.
Okay. In my perspective, how long have we been inside the tent?
Well, right now I'm tethered to your world, so a few minutes.
Few minutes. Okay. Couple dying in a few minutes.
Damn.
There has to be.
Your
I don't know if it's
your
something
eye
involving
catches
us.
3 more shattering and falling to dust.
Do we see any more appearing, or is it just?
You have to pay attention for that. It happens a lot less. Judging by the speed at which these emblems are shattering and falling to dust, and new ones are appearing, eventually the wall is going to be empty. It's going to take a while,
Damn.
but eventually the wall will be empty. While you were looking at this wall, if you make a perception roll, because this time you are paying attention.
I'll do it
I'm
too.
gonna do, yeah. 18?
Okay.
You said perception?
Yes.
17.
You just switch your
I just
values.
switch your values.
For our
Tobiashi is slightly distracted by the fact that this is happening, but Georg suddenly is paying a little bit more attention. You maybe see one effigy appearing. This one is not an emblem, it's more of a small statue disappearing and forming, and it's a slow process, but it's like watching Orunak grow. It takes a moment, but suddenly you see it appearing, it takes shape, and you have the shape of what looks like a humanoid holding something in its hand. But so far you've seen nearly 10 emblems shatter and only one being made.
I don't like that.
Okay.
Here, oh yeah, I think I have a few emblems there. And he arrives with maybe 24 emblems, and he just pours them all in front of you, and you see them all changing shape and becoming different things. But most of them you can recognize the shape, and you can even name it. It's like watching clouds. So sometime, Tobiashi, you look at one and, hey, this one looks like a sheep. Jorg will say, no, I know what a sheep looks like. This is a buck. This is not a sheep. See, the horn. Remember.
Okay.
But most of them, there's this element of, okay, no, I recognize this. This looks like, what does that look like? But it has a shape. I know it has a wheel, but I don't know what it's called.
I guess I'll just investigate to see if I could see that symbol, the emblem that doesn't form a shape.
All right, make a perception roll.
All you have to do is just keep looking until one of them makes your head hurt.
21.
21.
Dirty.
Oh, that's much better. It takes a moment.
Yeah. There's a lot.
From your perspective, maybe a good 30 minutes of pouring through everything he keeps adding, because it's not all. He keeps...
Yeah, he just keeps coming over. I'm just like, moving him to the side. I'm like, no.
Eventually, you find one that you're just about to touch it, and this one doesn't have a shape that pops out. It's just a solid cloth. You'd say something like the texture of hard leather, but it is cloth. You can recognize it. The shape of it makes you sick. You can't recognize it. It feels like what you're looking for, but it turns your inside out just watching it. Your mind races, and you immediately feel that headache coming on.
I look over to Jordan really quick. I'm like, I think I've seen it.
Oh. Should we take it?
I'll look over to the guy. I'm like, how much is this one?
This moment is probably slightly frustrating for you, because he takes it in his hand and he looks at it very closely, and he either has an incredibly good poker face, or he is not affected by this at all. He looks at this and I don't know, it's a bit rare.
Wait, what do you see?
What do you mean, what I see?
On the cloth, what do you see? Is there a shape? Is it moving? What does it look like to you?
Well, it looks, and the thing is that when he's about to say the word, it feels like everything blurs in your mind.
So he can see it, but we can't get it from him.
It really goes from, well...
Fuck. That just frustrates me.
Your
I'm like,
mind
okay,
can't register it. So it becomes obvious from your side. His mind is much more complex than yours.
Yeah. Okay. How much?
Well, seeing as you're the first one to ask me for this particular one, and I don't know, last 5 jumps I've made, I'll let it go for 5 gold.
Okay. Sold.
It's a deal.
You want to give it to him, or what?
Yeah, I can give him the gold.
Okay.
And then I want to hold out like a cloth and not look at the cloth and have him put it in it. And then just cover it up so I don't have to look at it.
But
I will
even
take a
so,
glance.
you can't see it, but your mind feels it. There is this uneasy feeling that grips you, takes you in your stomach, and it feels like you're always in the cusp of throwing up, but not actually doing it. You sort of like feeling the moment where you feel the muscles in your stomach start to contract, but not enough for your inside to come out. It's sort of this uncomfortable feeling inside of you, and you feel it spread slowly to the rest of your body and to your mind.
We can switch off.
Yeah, I don't know if I can carry this much longer.
We just keep switching it off
in
to
my
each other.
backpack. Yeah, hot potato. Does it go away in my backpack?
No. You get the feeling that it's proximity to you that it's causing this.
Oh no.
It's not as bad as if you're actually watching it. If you're watching it, you actually feel like you're just about to throw up, and not just your stomach, but your mind is about to throw up. When you cover it, it sort of dampens a little bit, but it remains there. And just like motion sickness, it slowly gets worse, tearing at your mind.
Oh god. You know what?
Exactly.
Put this on the counter until we leave.
Yeah, let's set it right there. We'll pick it up before we leave. I'll put it like a marking on it so we know what to come back to. on the cloth around the cloth, and then do you have like a I think it's like a pole of long jumping. I think that's what it's called.
You want a pole for long jumps?
Oh.
Well, I think so. I think it's like a pole of one
Are you
second.
specifically thinking of an existing item like a
Yes,
pole
I am.
collapsing?
No, not of collapsing. Collapsing
I
pole.
don't think there's a pole of jumping.
You sure? Vaulting?
Some vocal.
There's a ring of jump.
Oh no, that's 3.5. My mistake.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that would do it.
What exactly are you looking for? You do remember that most of my wear is for mundane stuffs, not thing that have an incredibly powerful effect. I'm not here to change someone's destiny. I'm just here to make your life easier in some way.
Okay. Would you have a bag of holding?
Wow, it's been a while since anyone asked me for that. Maybe.
Okay. If you could find it, I would really like one.
Okay. Give me a moment.
Couldn't find a bag, but I did find a pair of underwear. Would that work?
An underwear of holding.
Careful, I'm.
My pants.
Ganbu is weird enough to actually have it. So.
Are you frustrated by the fact that your underwear can't hold your package?
Yeah, can I get
Hold plenty.
Can I get a forearm band of holding? I could just put stuff in my forearm band.
So you want something small, is that it? Not necessarily a bag of holding, but something that can hold more.
Yes.
How much more are we talking about?
Not much more. We already have like kind of a dimensional space thing, but I don't have it. Our person that made the religion has it.
Oh, okay.
But I would like something where I could hold something that's not too close to me, kind of detached to this realm.
No, I can completely understand you not wanting to place money inside of dimensional storage owned by a dragon. It must probably feel like taking things from a dragon's hoard.
It's like a bank.
Yeah, no,
like they don't give rates. Yeah.
Where have you heard that word before?
I think the garden has a bank.
Rivers have banks.
I don't know. What do you talk? What did I say?
My coins at the local bank.
What are you talking about? Did I say something wrong?
Well, no. I'm just surprised because I don't think you have those in your world.
I might have thought of something else. Sometimes my mind wanders. So yeah, about the holding thing.
Yes. So how big exactly do you want to put things in there?
Maybe like I would say 5 foot by 5 foot.
So essentially, you want to be able to put a door in there.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a good frame of reference. All right, something
yeah,
big
a
enough to
door.
put a door in. Well, that's
Maybe like throw a body in there if I have. I mean, throw some items in there if I have to that are maybe bigger than me.
that's always useful.
Door length. Yeah.
I think I have something for you.
Okay.
He goes.
Where's that?
He goes somewhere else. He goes away, and he comes back a few moments later. It's what you just said. You want to be able to put a body in there. Well, I think
Okay.
I have exactly what you want. It's a dimensional body bag.
I was just about to.
Wait, okay, so can we put other things other than a body in there? Or is it body only excessive?
Well, it has just enough space to put one body in there.
Okay, alright. I mean,
How big is it?
like
when
how
you're
big of a
carrying
body?
it?
We talking about like a Goliath, my body, his body?
Well, that's the thing,
The
is
dog.
when you put the body in there, it becomes big enough for that body. So I
Okay,
do
okay,
recommend that you put a body in there.
Can you put a body
So,
of
but if we
water
put
in
it, if we put a body in there first and then took it out, would it still be the same size as what that body was, or does it shrink?
Oh, no. Well, it depends. There's only place for one body. If you're placing a body that can change its shape after it's dead, well, then it's going to have the size of the body that you take out when you take it out. But the thing is, you want to be able to carry stuff in it, and you can.
Yes.
Because if you put a backpack on the body, the bag is going to be large enough to put the backpack on the body and the body inside of the bag. So maybe start walking around with a scarecrow with a backpack on him.
Okay. I mean, I think that'll work.
Okay.
So, my next question is, when we have the body in the bag, right?
Yes.
Is it the shape of a body? Does it look like a body in a bag, or is this just like does it shrink? What does it look like on the outside after we put the body in?
He shows you something that is the size of a pocket of a shirt pocket.
That's cool. Okay, that sounds good.
You just have to remember to refold it after, because you have to unfold it, and he shows you, he starts unfolding it, and it's really just this weird thing that starts unfolding, and then you unfold it again and again and again and again and again, and it slowly becomes the size of a body bag. But it's
Okay.
this thick, and right now it feels like it has just enough size to put your body in it. Don't worry, the moment you put something in, the moment you put a body in it, it's gonna take another shape than yours. It's just assuming that you're gonna be
I'm
your
gonna be
body,
the body.
because
Okay,
you're the one
okay.
holding it. But when you put a
I
body
see.
in there, it's gonna have the right shape.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that sounds perfect. How much is it?
I mean, I'd be willing to let it go for 75 gold. It's sort of
That's perfect.
useful.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'll take that. I'll give him the 75 gold.
Just be sure I'm not selling the scarecrow. I don't. Well, I could
No, yeah,
probably,
no.
but
It's fine without the scarecrow.
okay.
Unless you have a magical scarecrow lying around.
Well,
Okay, never mind. I'll take the bags. I think we'll have to be heading off. Thank you for all the information you have given us.
Thanks
This
for
could help
reminding me
us
of
out a
the
lot.
blob.
And
remember to
George-
feed it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
George,
wrote that down. Yes.
where'd you place the thingy?
Oh God. Do you have a leash or something that I could put it in so it's not?
Well, we could put it in this body bag.
So long as you find a body to put inside, you know.
Oh.
Just go in a field and take a scarecrow, put the thing inside, and then you put
Yeah,
it
so
inside
we might
a body
have to
bag.
hold it for a little while, but we'll find a body or something.
All right.
You can also kill something and put the body in there. It's gonna work.
Yeah. Like an animal or something. Okay, all right.
Well, I was
all
thinking
right.
about the giant, but yeah, it's an animal that works.
Hear
Okay.
me out, Tobiyashi. Just find another monk out on the middle of the road.
All right.
Challenge him to a duel.
Thank you for everything. See you next time.
Thank
Yes. You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to do business with you. And remember,
Try to count before we come back next time. It might be a little bit longer than last time, like a month. Could you try to keep track of how many moments it takes for us to get back, and how many of those symbols get destroyed?
whew,
If you can, for me.
well, I'm gonna do my best, but you know, a moment is a moment. A moment
Yeah.
is never two moments. A
An
moment is a
infinite
moment.
number of moments.
All right. Just let us know.
All right.
Do the best you can.
It'll at least have been a moment. That I can guarantee you.
All right. We'll leave. And
All right.
oh,
Thank you.
well,
Come
that's
again.
always interesting. Yeah. We start walking forward and look behind us. It's gone.
Absolutely. The tent is gone and the coin is gone from the ground.
Okay. Well, we have the symbol now. We could pass it like to and from each other, just so one of us doesn't get too
The
sick.
moment you retake it, immediately you start feeling sick again. So as if something is tearing away at your mind, at your body, at your insides.
Maybe we shouldn't have bought this.
No.
How do they tolerate this?
I have no idea. It was in that guy's mind, so beats me. But this thing hurts me more than that freaking cloth that Onak has.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going. We'll bring
Yeah.
it back to the garden.
Feels like your inside are bubbling, not because of the heat, just because of something.
Ugh.
Ew.
I do want to drop it so bad, but we bought it. It's
Yeah.
our mission.
We
No
just have
Let's
to.
go.
Uh-huh. Well, if we're coming back this way, we could just hide it and then pick it up on the way back.
How are we gonna? Can you like make plants grow?
I mean, no.
Well, that's literally a spell.
Yeah. I can't currently do that, but what's the terrain like around us?
Right now, it's mostly plain. You would find an odd tree or sometime a grove, but never a
Oh.
forest.
Can you summon an animal?
And have them carry it?
Well, we could have him carry it, or we could put him in the bag. And
Yeah.
Then
I
put
could
the stuff in
summon
the bag.
Frel, but if Frel doesn't like it, I'd rather carry it.
Yeah,
like
that's
if
true.
it hurts him
that's true.
too.
I mean, we
Yeah.
could. Okay, let's see if the animal feels it. We'll give it
Yeah.
to. Well,
I'll
we can
bring
test it out.
Frel out and then see does he react to the if I give him the
Well, the first thing is when you summon it, you see for the first time he's grown.
whoa
Nice.
yeah
He no
You
longer
found it.
looks like a puppy. He looks like an adolescent dog. Halfway
Ooh.
between the two.
it's getting big. I can get to this side of the camera so you can see him.
He's not quite there yet, but
Soon.
Yeah, not full grown dog, but
All right.
nice. Look at you, big boy.
He's getting kind of big. What'd
Yeah.
you feed him? Wasn't he just small?
He was. He doesn't seem to be growing the same way normal dogs do.
Okay. So let's give it to him.
Yeah.
Does he have a
I'll-
backpack on him?
No, I was just gonna like tie a little satchel for him.
Right.
Is he?
he responds.
just, like-
He responds to it pretty much the same way as a dog would if you try to put a shirt on it for the first time.
But like for now, I'm just like putting it. I'm just resting the thing on him to see if he reacts to its presence.
He's reacting to it pretty much the same way as a dog would if you tried to put a shirt on it for the first time.
But not like. I
It's not
guess
like
yeah.
bark.
That's,
He finds it uncomfortable. You know,
yeah.
he sort of recognized that you want him you want this to be there, but also, it's not comfortable, and he sort of, he sort of looks at you, and when he sees that you're looking, he doesn't move. And the moment that you look at Tobiashi, you catch him from the corner of your eye, just shifting around, trying to make it slide, and then you look at it again, and he just stops moving. And
Oh, I don't like that. I'm just gonna hold on to it.
You could bury it here, like literally right here.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like bury it. How
Just put,
would
like, yeah, that's why I asked you if you could like make plants grow over it or something.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's like a marker.
Or like make rocks form, or I don't know. What do you druids do?
Well, I mean, if I prepared something, I could do something like that.
Are there any trees around?
you would be able to find an odd tree, but not forest where you are.
Yeah.
One tree is even better though.
At most, you could find a grove. 5 or 6 tree growing in the same place, but that's it.
We'll go to the nearest tree to the road.
Mhm.
I will bury it right at the base of the tree and fold it up in the cloth that it's in. And I gotta keep concentrating on this. So I will use a key point, extend one of my silks, and tie it to the tree.
Oh,
Okay.
I was just gonna try.
Then we'll head off to the monastery.
All right. It takes a few hours for you to find a tree that is not exactly on the side of the road, but just a little bit further, so people wouldn't necessarily
Find it.
or people walking with a dog wouldn't necessarily just start digging, and finding it. All along you're walking, you have this churning feeling, not just inside of your stomach, but your entire body, and it feels deep inside your mind. And you can't place a word on it. You don't know what it is.
Maybe we don't come back for this. Leave it
We'll
for
see.
some unlucky soul to find.
Well, it's next campaign. No, I'm playing.
And
I want to bring it back to the garden.
according to the dice, it even
Me
starts
too.
raining during that second part of the day.
Oh no.
It's a sign.
This is
All right,
a
let's get-
terrible, no good, very bad day.
Let's keep heading out. Let's go.
And eventually you do
Yeah.
find a tree, and you bury it, you put your silk around that, and mark that key point. So long as you want to remain it inside of the silk, it will stay there, but you lose that key point for as long as you keep the silk active.
Okay.
And it persists through sleep. So it's literally, you gain it when you voluntarily remove it.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll keep it there. I'll make it
Yash
kind of
forgets about
a
it, and we go to the
color.
island.
Forget about it. Yeah. I'm like, why is this key point still marked off?
So it takes maybe 5 or 6 minutes, but before you put it down, and it only took a moment, a real moment, not a Ganbu moment, to leave your inside and your mind. But now it actually takes a bit of time. You've been walking with this for hours, but it took something like 10 minutes for the feeling to start subsiding inside of you.
Ew.
And you can't help but have this feeling of, what sort of dreams would I have had if I'd slept with this?
All right, let's pick it back up.
Yeah, now we gotta know.
We gotta know the dreams. No.
Yeah, maybe this is how they get you. Maybe they trap you with it, and
It's like those
Yeah,
shrooms
like-
we took.
Much
Yeah.
worse.
do I feel
Well, let's go.
addicted to it at all?
And do I feel addicted to the feeling?
No,
Yeah,
it even
like,
feels
go ahead,
good
give
that
me a
now
sec.
that it's not there.
He's not.
Okay, good.
He's not hooked on a feeling.
And we head off on that note.
Off to see the wonderful Wizard
Has
of...
Fisher done anything?
Yeah. What?
Has Fisher had a turn to do anything yet?
Oh yes,
Oh,
he
he's
decided that he was researching
Oh,
spells.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
doing something.
So you keep on
Fisher's
going,
brooding.
absorbing the elements of. All right, so audience is slowly becoming an evil warlord, champion of a god. Remy is blindly following it. I'm studying spells and watching my little worm act out his life. With Terranad that keeps talking in the background. I know he's doing something evil. Shut up!
Yeah. Terranoid's probably being just unbearable with the. See, I told you.
Oh, most likely. This all feels familiar. I feel like someone said something about this. I just can't remember who it was. Do you have an idea, Fisher? Who might have it been that said this? I feel like
don't know.
a good few
Probably
months
someone
ago.
really annoying.
Wait, what happened? Well, now Talby has a body bag.
Hell yeah.
I'll write it up in D&D Beyond.
Now you'll never know if I kill someone.
Well, if you kill 2 people, it's only 1 body bag.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that gives you one whole person you can kill without us knowing about it.
Get out of jail free card.
So, the day keeps going and it rains, and unfortunately you find yourself having to sleep under the rain that day. But everything starts to settle down, and you sort of miss the rest of the party because they had things that they could put up that would prevent you from having to sleep in the rain. So the best you have are rain cloaks.
Well, it's a survival check. I try to make a house.
Yeah, with what?
Oh, yeah, there's not woods and sticks everywhere, huh? Shit.
Oh yeah, we could dig a house.
Can you
I'll
make
turn
a
it into
ledge?
hole.
Can you make a ledge with, like, rocks?
Oh, that's too bad. Jorg doesn't have shape earth.
Oh,
George!
I just do erupting earth a few times.
You're gonna erupt Earth?
Yeah, I'll make a.
Oh, like erupt Earth, like diagonally, so it's like a point?
Oh yeah, no, I was just making a pit in the ground that we could sleep in. But I like your idea.
Ah, too bad.
The funny part is that there is a druid in the garden that would have something perfect for this if you had learned it from them.
Well, it's part of the feat you have. Well, all right. Actually, this is what Jorg has asked me to finish writing up. It's that feat that gives him the ability to craft different things. And give me a moment. Where did my mice go? My mouse go?
Bush.
Oh, it's not on the desktop. Let's see. There are a minimum level requirement. Just let me see if you have it.
Shining.
Well, actually, you need to be able to cast 4th level magic. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Nope.
Nope.
And when Tobiyashi asked you this, you sort of had this moment of, oh, yeah, well, yeah, I can... Oh, right. I need to forage for ingredient first. Nope, I can't.
Well.
And now you have this moment where you remember, that's right, my dog can help me forage for this. But it's probably going to take you something like a few days. So... To make it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The best I could do is make a roof with silk. It's gonna go through it.
Alright, so you have a very unpleasant evening with this, trying to build this. And the question that I need to ask is, are you going to take a guard turns during the night.
Yeah, that's probably a good
We have
idea.
3 people that could take guard. Me, you, and the dog.
Yeah.
Thing is, you need 4 to go through a night, so you're not gonna get your full rest.
Uh-oh.
If you
Or
want
do
to
we
keep
just-
watch throughout the night, you will
Yeah,
not
unless we
have
just
your
don't
long
have
rest.
someone. Yeah,
I
unless we
mean,
just-
I took a long rest between sessions, right? So
Yes,
Yeah,
you have
we
had
all-
one long rest.
I don't really need the long rest. Because I haven't used
I
any
could take
resources.
first one. I'll take first watch.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you take on these watch. Make sure that you don't get attacked during the night. Fortunately, you both have very high passive perception, so this helps. But in the morning, you both get a point of exhaustion because you didn't get your long rest. Unless you want to have a moment during the night where you are both sleeping.
Take it. Do we take it, Jorg?
Do we do it?
I'm doing it.
I mean,
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll just sleep.
We'll have a moment where nobody's watching.
Okay.
Yeah. Up and all our stuff is gone.
No! You can't say that.
Well, I rolled. So
We're naked.
Uh-oh.
you spend your night.
Let's make it together.
You spend your night sleeping one after the other, and then eventually you both look at one another. You look at Jorg's dog, and you sort of, well, he also took a turn, and not gonna go well for him if he takes a second turn. Well, we sort of don't have a choice.
The dog can, yeah.
We're just like too sleepy to think like reasonably. We're just like, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
what's the...
So you
My body bag's
steal
gone.
your resolve. Oh, you're in the body bag.
Oh!
You decide to take a chance, and you walk just a little, even more further off of the main path to make sure that not a lot of people will see you. And you both fall asleep. It is the most unpleasant sleep you've ever had.
Oh no.
Fire.
There is a moment during that night where you feel lost. You look around and it feels like you're in a desert or a wasteland.
It's the time night.
Or in a wasteland. There's nothing, there's no life anywhere.
Something doesn't feel right.
Everything's dead. Even you, Jorg, you look to the ground and I mean, there's a lot of clay on that ground because it all cracked up and dried, but you can't see a single trace of life. You have this churning feeling inside of you.
Hey, Jorg. No need to
Hopefully
panic.
make it.
No need to panic.
No need to panic.
You both look around and you don't see anything anywhere. But you also realize that the light is off. It's sort of a... It's like the illumination you'd get if you were in a desert. But this is not the right place. You recognize those mountains. You fell asleep watching them. It's just before. That's not how it's supposed to look. And as you're looking around, looking at that mountain, looking at the light, wondering where it's coming from, you look up and you see a thick layer of clouds. They almost look like dust cloud. floating very high up. For a very brief moment, you feel like you're gonna throw up. And you see
Okay.
two large tentacles just break the surface of this dust cloud and reabsorb inside. And you both wake
Okay.
up.
Something's wrong.
Jorg,
You both wake up the next morning.
you didn't put any shrooms in our rations, right? I checked my stuff.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I don't think I did.
I don't think I did.
They
hold
got
on,
wet
those-
and they
those
just
I
started
woke
to...
up for a midnight snack, didn't realize.
That was the mushrooms from the garden. My
Put it in the
bad.
chocolate. No. I'll get up and I'm like, you saw that, right?
Yeah, you saw it too, huh? Was that the pendant
Maybe.
It,
or
Fuck.
whatever?
it's the morning. It's damp. It's not comfortable. You realize it rained throughout part of the night. You feel the beginning of a cold.
Oh,
But you have that memory of that dream.
I wonder. Well, let's check our stuff.
yeah. Let's.
I'm gonna check all my things, make sure they're all there.
As far as I can tell,
Tentacle
everything's
jumps out
there.
of your body bag.
Okay. My pendant's still there. Everything's there. Okay.
Well, your
okay.
pendant is there, but it's not where you left it in your backpack. It moved inside of your backpack, but it's still there.
Okay. All right, we got that. Body bag check.
Here's
Okay, we should
something you
probably
never
head out.
thought you'd say.
Body bag check. Let's go. We should probably head out.
Yeah.
Could bring that up when we get back to our group.
Yes. See if it happens when we're sleeping somewhere comfortable.
Yeah.
All right. And so that brings a conclusion to this day. Most likely, the next day is going to go by very fast because unless you have things you actually want to finish making, Tobiashi and Jorg, you have a, well, mostly pleasant day among monks in front of you. You're going to get there somewhere during the second half of the day, which would probably be a good thing if you actually took a night to sleep. And then call everyone in the call your friends in the garden and tell them we might be late half a day.
Okay, we could do that. We should probably take a rest there.
Yeah, I would like a good night of sleep.
We just try to find the monk. We try to find the monk, talk to them, see how they're doing, if they start going on adventures. And I want to talk to them about something
Okay.
important.
Okay. I feel like the end of this day is probably a good place to finish this episode. Fisher and Remy, I'm so sorry you didn't get to do much during this episode.
All good.
Well, in my
I feel
defense,
like I can't really complain. We're about to head
The
into
death.
the deep end of my backstory, so
yeah, yeah. No, looking at it this way, yes, you are going to have a whole lot of element of your story being chucked at you that even you don't know. So, but that still leaves Remy, who spent most of the episode just watching this stuff.
Without
I mean, we could appreciate the contrast, just like two party members, like the Laugh of Luxury. Then on the other side of the spectrum, and then Fisher just spent the entire day in a, I don't want to say dusty library, but I assume they clean it.
Oh, absolutely. But you have a point. He is right in the middle of the two. You know? Audience and Remy, rich, Jorg and Tobiashi, poor, Fisher, right in the middle. Not rich, not poor, not overly served, not completely forgotten. You know.
Just existing.
And he's taking care of his son or daughter. I mean, you still don't know.
They haven't decided.
Weird alien worms have genders.
Well, from the X-ray Remy saw of that creature, it's not obvious if he has a gender.
All right.
Doesn't
Oh,
look
crap.
like any medical textbook Raimi's been through.
No.
It's just a tube. I don't know what to do with this.
I think me and George got some good information about the gods dying.
Yeah, that's ominous.
Was
All right, well, this is the end of the episode. So, what do we end the episode with a little bit of sound? We've been going with crackling fire, so why not go with the crackling fire? You know, it's everything that Jorg and Tobiashi wish they'd heard on that night as they were
Yeah, we were
falling
not
asleep.
prepared for an overnight.
yeah, we should gotta bring a tent next time.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I was giving you the option of taking the commercial road, which meant it would take less time, but you'd have to sleep
thought we
out, or you
Oh,
could
yeah.
go
Oh.
town hopping, which would have taken an entire additional day, but you would have been warm and dry every single day.
But then we wouldn't have gone to the crossroads. See,
Yeah.
pros and cons.
Yeah, you
think-
wouldn't
I
have
think we
gotten
did.
your body bag.
Or learned about the dying gods and stuff. A tent would have been good to buy from him.
Hey, you got any tents?
You know, survival tents. You know, one person
That's
that can
true.
fit inside, you buy two.
Yeah.
Or a special tent that is the size of a one prison tent but fits two people.
that's an add-on.
Or we
It's
could have just
called
slept in
getting
your
comfy.
body bag. Well, one of us could.
I don't know. Can we breathe in the body bag? That's my question.
That is a good question.
I would say no, because you did specify
No,
to put a
maybe.
body in there, or a scarecrow and not a living thing. But,
True.
you know, so long as you haven't
Yeah.
tried, you don't know. Alright, so. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for watching. I hope you had a pleasant evening, night, day, some moment during your living period. Who knows? You're an alien. We just learned that
Our
time
living
is relative.
Hmm.
Body bag.
So, thank you for being here. Don't worry, next episode, Fisher and Remy will have more to do. At least I hope, because I'm not going to feel as bad. And see you again next Wednesday or Friday if you're watching this on the rebroadcast. And as always, if you're there on the rebroadcast, because they always say that there are something like 5 or 6 people active in the chat when I'm broadcasting, but whenever I launch my raid, there's never more than 2 people joining. Please make your window active. Whomever we're going to raid, usually either Tobiashi or a Dungeon for Dummies, another D&D group, who also use Dungeon Alchemists to make their map. It'd be fun if there were more than just 3 people. You know, please. But that's everything I have to say. So thank you for being there. Like I said, thank you for watching. We hope you had a pleasant evening. And as always, if you enjoy the show, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, YouTube, or Twitter. Although it's true that I don't say a lot on Twitter. I'll have to try and... But hey, if you talk to me on Twitter, I will answer. You can also support... And you can write us emails. There is a email below the window. So you can always write me emails. And if you want me to give that email to one member of the group, I will. Don't worry. And you can also support this stream by making a donation, becoming a Patreon, subscribing on Twitch. And if you can't do any of those, well, simply spreading the word of this channel helps tremendously and is very much appreciated. So, thank you very much, and as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.
Good night.